Welcome to Football Talk. Today we will discuss the Premier League game between Manchester City and Arsenal. I would like to start by saying this. Today we witness what has been so far the best game of the season. And yes, it was a draw. Neither team was able to claim all 3 points. The final score was Manchester City 2, Arsenal 2. But this game had everything. It was, from the beginning, a physical and tactical battle. Both teams would come out, ready to show the aggressiveness of their game. And just a few seconds after the game had begun, the Manchester City player Rodri would go down after having contact with Arsenal centre forward Kai Havertz. The VAR wouldn't find anything wrong with the contact and didn't instruct Michael Oliver to go to the monitor. During the first 10 minutes of the game, Manchester City seemed to be the most comfortable out of the two teams on the field. And in the 9th minute of the game, Brazilian international Savinho, one of the two new signings for Manchester City this season, with a great first touch, would get away from his marker Caliaflori and would make a run from out wide, stretching the Arsenal's defense, putting the ball through for Erling Haaland, who did not waste the opportunity and would score his 100th goal for Manchester City and the first goal of the game, giving City the first advantage of the night. Unfortunately for Manchester City, things wouldn't start going their way as their midfielder superstar Rodri would go down to a knee injury. He was replaced by Mateo Kovacic. But things were about to get worse for Manchester City. And just 1 minute later, Ricardo Caliaflori, with a banger, would score for Arsenal. The game had become a very physical game. A lot of fouls were committed, and very few clear chances were given. Both teams would use a high defensive line when they had the possession of the ball, and they would try to use their fullbacks to create numerical advantage in different areas of the field. After 35 minutes, both sides looked as if they were trying to mirror each other. City and Arsenal would use a high offensive line to pressure the opponent's defense whenever they would try to pass the ball out of the back. And when the pressure was broken by the other team's defense, they would be content on sitting deep in the back, waiting for the opponent to make a mistake and get out on the break. This was, of course, only until Arsenal was able to take advantage of the set pieces, something they have become so good at. And so it was. In the 46th minute, Bukayo Saka, from a corner kick, would find Gabriel making a run from the edge of the box. He would score with a header, the 2-1 lead for Arsenal. So far, everything looked like it was going according to Arsenal's plan. That was until 8 minutes into injury time of the first half, Leandro Trossard received a second yellow card for kicking the ball after the ref had whistled for a foul. Unfortunately for the viewers, this changed the game completely. Arsenal had been the most effective team of the night, but they were going into halftime, one man down. Going into the second half, Mikel Arteta had to make a substitution. Bukayo Saka would come out, and Ben White would go in, leaving Arsenal with a 5-4 formation. Although sometimes during the game you could see they were using a backline of 6 defenders with 3 holding midfielders. As the minutes went by and Manchester City was unable to find the equalizer, you could see the Arsenal's low block growing stronger. After 30 minutes of the second half, Arsenal's attack depended mostly on solo runs from their wide players, Martinelli and Kai Havertz, but they were unable to cause Manchester City any problems. Almost all of the second half was played on the edge of Arsenal's penalty box, with the Manchester City players passing the ball, unsuccessfully finding spaces behind Arsenal's back line, leaving them no choice but to shoot from outside the box. But their shots would be repelled by Arsenal's defense. The few shots that went through were not on target or were stopped by Arsenal's goalkeeper, David Raya. And so we would reach the 90th minute with Arsenal leading Manchester City 2-1 at the Etihad. At this point of the game, the Arsenal players, who had been down one man throughout all of the second half, were going down, tired and injured. Manchester City players were complaining to the ref about Arsenal players wasting time. With little time left, everything seemed like it was going to be an away win for Arsenal at the Etihad. That was until the 98th minute, when Jack Grealish took a quick short corner. The Arsenal defense was not expecting this. This allowed Jack Grealish to get inside the box, finding Mateo Kovacic, whose shot got deflected and picked up by John Stones, who put it on the net for a final Manchester City 2, Arsenal 2. The game would end the same way it began, with conflict between the players. Unfortunately for Arsenal players and supporters, they would feel disappointed that they didn't take all 3 points from Etihad. While Manchester City players and supporters will feel relief, they were able to rescue 1 point from a game that looked like it was getting away. Only the end of the season will tell us which team benefited the most from this draw. This has been the first post-match analysis in Football Talk. This is Rollo saying goodbye.